Hey, I'm Philip Astor. I'm the marketing director at Trendy Entertainment, and we're showing off Dungeon Defenders 2 at Comic-Con in New York.
Let's start by talking about what your goals were heading into the sequel.
We had a lot of goals. I think our major one was to combine the action, the tower defense, and the role-playing as more of a complete package instead of a separate one.
For those who haven't played the original, talk about this world.
Okay, so the game basically takes place in Etheria. In the first game, we had 4 kids who were 7 or 8, and they accidentally unleashed an ancient evil, and they had to defeat it before their parents came back home. In the sequel, that ancient evil has actually spread and invaded the land of Etheria. So now they're leaving their castle, and they have to take back the rest of Etheria.
When it comes to the gameplay, how are you guys pushing that forward?
There's too many ways to list right now, but a major one harkens back to what I said first, combining the action, the tower defense, and the role-playing. So one of the main things we've done is we've actually split the resource system. Before it was just mana. Now it's defense mana and ability mana. And that makes it so you have to use both. And because you can use both, you can use abilities and defenses equally, we have a new combo system. So there's actually interactions. For example, you have a Cyclone ability which the apprentice can use, which will spin enemies and put them up in the air. The monk has an anti-air tower called the Skyguard Tower, which deals massive damage but only to air units. So if the apprentice hits them up in the air during the combat phase, they'll take a lot of damage. So now you have to strategize. You have to think, do I want to place my defenses here, where during the combat phase I can use my abilities to interact with them, or do I want to make something more self-sustaining?
When it comes to fan feedback, can you talk about how that impacted the direction you guys have gone with this sequel?
Yeah, it impacted it so much. We were actually working on a completely different version of the sequel for about 8 months, and people didn't like it. It wasn't going over as well as we thought it would, and it was way too far from the original game. So we actually, about 4 months ago, restarted development on the sequel, and I have what we're showing here today, which is much more true to the original game.
What impact or what role will Comic-Con play in getting people hands-on with this game and as you guys are developing it?
I think it's just one of the starts of us really getting this game into the hands of the public. Something we're doing is actually running metrics on what everyone's playing. So we're getting a ton of feedback, not just in person, but also data to help make the game better, more accessible, more balanced.
You guys also using Unreal Engine 3 again?
Yep, we're still using Unreal Engine 3.
What does that open up for you guys? Have you been able to push on that in terms of the graphics and what we're seeing in the game?
Yeah, so one of the things is that we're actually focusing right now with the sequel on PC, Mac, and Linux. So we're using the full capabilities of the Unreal Engine to get graphics that are some of the best cartoon stylized graphics I think people have ever seen.
One of the big things on the original game was it was one of the first cross-platform. Will you guys be employing multiple platforms as well?
We haven't announced it yet, but we still intend to employ multiple platforms for the sequel. We're going to do it in a more interesting way that takes advantage of the benefits of each platform instead of having the same product spread across multiple platforms.
Would people be able to play within different platforms in the same team like in the first game?
We haven't announced that yet, so.